Welcome back from that first discussion. Now I want to go into the second discussion immediately, where we'll be looking at some matters arising from the FEC meeting. We just talked about that of the 7-year ban on new federal institutions in the country. Now let's look at that of the ministers. Do you know that before now, there is still belief that the moment you get into political office, you are all and all. You do whatever you want to do. Nobody supervises, nobody monitors what you do, and everyone just come, do what they want to do, especially when it comes to procurement. That's one area that a lot of people can cut corners without notice. You won't even notice it because they will do it very clean. But now, the FEC meeting that I had yesterday has it that ministers will now have to submit comprehensive list of projects in the respective agencies in parastatals under their supervision to the Bureau of Public Procurement. That's what we will be talking about today. And Global Television in-house analyst is right here, a public and political analyst, and also a security expert in the person of Professor Ibrahim Abubakar. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Prof.
You're welcome.
Let's quickly get to the discussion. What do you think about the fact that the FEC meeting that was held yesterday has directed ministers to submit comprehensive list of projects for scrutiny? What do you think about that?
Well, let me state my take here. Is a narrow way and a broad way. Narrow way, if we have started in such formations, and if the Bureau for Public Procurement has been up and doing. But a very broad way because it's an extension of corruption empire. Before now, we have the Bureau for Public Procurement, and they have aided so many contractors. They sign off any figure. They do everything. All the processes pass through them. Yet there is inflated contracts, prices, and the rest. So what are they going to do differently this time? Because the ministers and the executives of these departments, ministry and agencies are still going to lobby them. And they work hand in hand before now. So what is the difference from what it was before? Yeah, a very great idea. That is where we are supposed to start from. But it has been an existing agency, and we have never felt their impact. So what are they going to do differently? Because whether you are awarded a contract without they still sign it. They still look into the prices and the rest, and the contracts are always inflated. So there is nothing different that this is going to do to people.
All right, but then we've not had something like this in the past. This is about the first time we're hearing something like this.
That is why I said the narrow part and the broad part. I said it is a nice idea. This is where we are supposed to start from. But then you are bringing in an agency that is already corrupted to run the same process that you are starting.
That's a huge allegation, saying the Bureau for Procurement
they know the truth.
Is corrupt.
Maybe you don't know the runnings of the procurement.
Please let us know it. Let our audience know it.
Yeah, you don't know the Procurement Act. Any contract has always been awarded to go back to the procurement office to analyze and approve before that is done. So it is not a new thing. Now you are now extending that corruption to their table and said, you look into the corruption. You corrupt yourselves. I think that is what is happening now.
So the instruction is you corrupt yourself. That's what it means?
Yes, you are corrupt. You are corrupt already. Get more corrupted.
But then, don't you think that now that this instruction is coming, is going to make them sit up? And because this is beaming a light on the Bureau for Procurement.
The same directors, the same DG, the same office, the same people.
Probably different supervisors, external supervisors.
There is no external supervisor. They have not told us that these people has been changed. So you are.
No, when I say external supervisor, Prof, I mean this is an assignment given to the Bureau. Don't you think there will be people to check how far they are doing with this assignment?
I'm telling you, they give you a job. You are doing that job. What they are only telling you now is that the ministers should come and lobby you, which give you more edge. The ministers never lobby you before. Now they are asking the ministers to come and lobby you, which give you more edge, which give you more power and authority.
How do you mean come and lobby you? Because this is an instruction. When you say lobby, what are you referring to? Because a lot of accusation on the Bureau for Public
now
Procurement.
I used to submit directly my proposal, my budget proposal to Mr. President. I'm now going now to say these are the projects, my procurement projects that has to go through the Bureau for Public Procurement. And the Bureau of Public Procurement means that I am saying there should be a construction of borehole in so place. And the Bureau of Public Procurement said, why must it be so? Why not in my village? So I have to lobby the Bureau of Public Procurement, the directors and the DGs, the stakeholders there, to make sure they say what I want. This is the pricing. No, this one we can change it from 500 million to 1 billion. Don't worry.
But on the whole, let's look. Let's just look away from Bureau of Public Procurement for a little bit, even though they are the ones to do the scrutiny, because it is within their purview. Now, what do you think of the ministers, for instance? Because this is not the first time. Before now, the president have instructed ministers to go to media houses and showcase what they've done. All right. Just a few did it. Some didn't do it. Now, another instruction is coming that whatever project they are doing must be scrutinized. What message does this pass to you and to Nigerians? Are we saying, well, we're getting back to the drawing board now, there is going to be a check and balance, the government is waking up?
That is where I will not buy the idea that Bureau for Public Procurement should take over the scrutiny of projects in Nigeria. We don't go back to history. There is something that happens in Federal Capital when Major General Gardonasco was the minister. He saw what was happening within all the departments, and he established what we call the Project Implementation Task Force. And that brings down all levels of corruption. That was when a part of the Federal Secretariat project was revoked and given to another contractor. That was the part when the contract of USE 2 was revoked and was given to Julius Berger. That was the time that most of the projects in Abuja were revoked and were given to competent contractors. because some of them were paid 50% of a project that they have not even started. So there was a marching order from the minister, and the project implementation task force was able to mitigate against the corrupt sector. But giving a corrupt sector a task to be more corrupt, that is the only area I'm looking at. I'm not saying what the government or the Federal Executive Council has sit on is wrong, but it is a very nice step, but to a very wrong direction.
So as it is right now,
if they have built it and said, we are giving this tax to another independent body or another created body, I will not have any say to it. But there is nothing that has ever entered the Bureau of Public Procurement that they have ever rejected.
You have facts to that.
A lot of facts to it. Because I have never seen where a refrigerator in Nigeria is being sold for 5 million naira. But they have supplied a refrigerator approved by the Bureau for Public Procurement to an organization for 5 million naira.
A refrigerator?
Yes.
Maybe it depends on the size.
No matter the size, I saw the size.
Right.
So, if you are bringing such corrupt sector to scrutinize what? Scrutiny means total transparency. Total. Because if we want to go into procurement rules and processes, you go for the best of price, for a best of material. You understand me? Then you calculate logistics and supply models. It is only people who have not done what is called purchase and supply, who have not done logistics and management and administration, people who have not done financial management and procurement, that will come and tell you that, no, this is the way to follow. Then go to project management and the rest. These are the things that the Bureau for Public Procurement are supposed to be looking into, not coming to tell us about inflated prices.
So if you were the president and you really want to address this situation, what would you have done differently?
Of course, I'm not Mr. President, but to me, if we want to get to what is actually called Bureau for Public Procurement, there are so many things we have to look at that makes up procurement. Procurement did not say your handset is 250,000, and because you are supplying it, it should become 350,000. Procurement Act does not agree to that, because you are purchasing in bulk. By purchasing in bulk means that you have price relevancies. Then you look at logistics and supply. What is it in the international market and what is it in the local market, and what can we manufacture? Who are the manufacturers here, or who are the distributors, or who are the sole agents and the rest? Then you now look at, from that place where the price is founded, if the price is founded in Abuja or Lagos, what could be the cost of logistics to Sokoto? All this has to be put in place when you are forming your procurement. So a ton of iron rods cannot be 1 million naira. I am not telling somebody to supply a ton of iron rods for 5 million. It doesn't make any sense. So all this is to cut, the establishment was to cut cost. So from cutting of cost, we are having additional cost. It does not make the establishment relevant. Tell all contractors to supply, to bring up their invoice for forensic auditing and see how the same Bureau of Public Procurement gave them right to supply at that prices. Then you see the level of corruption I'm talking about. You find out that we have wasted billions, if not trillions of naira approved by the same Bureau for Public Procurement. And you are giving the same tax to the same people to scrutinize our budget. It's not a welcome one. That means you are actually encouraging corruption. And that is what the nation is crying over.
Oh, all right. These are political office holders that we're talking about here. We've dwelt so much on the Bureau for Procurement, public procurement. Now, let's get to the ministers themselves. What do you think about Nigerian ministers as it has to do with project execution?
When you have projects, executions, or not executing, you also know that the person who is executing and the person who is monitoring and the person who is evaluating are two different things. So let's look at the project evaluations. Who evaluates these projects? What is the role of a minister in different ministries? Then who are monitoring? These are the things you have to look at. One, staff of the ministries are the ones evaluating. They are the same people monitoring. The minister, by virtues of power, is just a special advisor to the president in that ministry. We have overblown the job of a minister. And that is why a minister is not a signatory to the account of the ministry. It's just to implement the president's agenda. Is not an administrator. Neither is he a manager. But here, we have taken a minister as an administrator and as a manager. And this has made a lot of cases. I laugh most of the time when people say they cannot even send these ministers to prison. You cannot send them to prison because of a reason. The reason is that they are not accountant administrators, they are not managers and administrators of the ministry. They are only entitled to some significant allowances. Nothing more. A minister is not the chairman of the tenders board. He has no role to play in the tenders committee. This is what we have seen. This is based on recommendation he has signed. He signed. Then, yeah, we allow them to have overriding power over the administration, the management. The people they are supposed to hold responsible are not being held responsible, which is permanent secretary, the directors. And the moment you talk, they tell you, director's salary is this, the permanent secretary this. So they, because of self-aggrandizement and not knowing your position as a minister, the public servant or the civil servant, whatever way you call them, use the minister as a cover for their corrupt activities. And knowing where we are coming from, the moment such appointment is given to you, instead of standing by your rule to guide Mr. President, that is why they have the Federal Executive Council's meeting. You don't see permanent secretaries there. You don't see directors there. It is the minister. So the minister is supposed to be briefing in the Federal Executive Council. This is what we have done. You said so road should be completed in 2 years. We have gone to this extent. We have gone to this extent. You said this should be done. We have gone to this extent. We have gone to this extent. So if you are normally appointed as the Minister of Works and there is a project there is a road construction project from Ekpe to East Side to Ijebu, your own is to, and it's supposed to be completed in 3 years, your own is to enter a vehicle, go through that road, know how many kilometers has been done, whether it is asphalt, lane, whether it's just earthwork that has been done. We have done earthwork to so extent. You go back. On the Federal Executive Council, you brief what has been done. That is just all.
That's the work of the minister.
That is supposed to be the work of a minister.
But we're having it in the reverse?
Yes.
So what's happening?
Yeah, somebody is sitting down somewhere who has been in the civil service payroll for 25 years, 30 years, now becoming a director, and you are bringing a minister who has never been in that ministry, who don't know the activities of the ministry and the rest. The second role of a minister is to say, sir, I have sensed this to be wrong. I need a policy framework to address this menace. The past minister couldn't address it, but I think it is significant for us to address it. So there is a policy framework. So apart from policy framework and such, nothing more a minister has to do. If it is a job of a minister to be administrator and manager, he will have also been an approver of payment. But these days, they have made them to approve payments. Minister has not approved so payment. Minister has nothing to do with payments. Minister has nothing to do with the account of the distance. All it do is that we needed funds for this, and approval is given by the same FEC. And as the money comes and how it is disbursed is not the business of the minister. So you go and meet a permanent secretary now in a ministry who will say, no, I have not gotten approval from the minister. What minister?
But the minister is the head man there. He's the one in charge.
No, he's a political figure.
So what you said his assignment is just to supervise. That's what you said.
And bring policy issues.
Bring policies.
Yes, that is just the job. You cannot go to any ministry today and they will tell you the chairman of the the Ministerial Tenders Board is Mr. Minister, and he has to be there. A minister has nothing to do with that. He has no right to the funds. He doesn't know how the funds are being disbursed. Yes, you can write to him. He can intervene and say, permanent secretary, we are owing this person, why haven't he been paid? You understand me? Because it is under his privy to ask why that person has not been paid. That is if there is any kind of consign or petition to him that I have done my job and I have not been paid. He can call the permanent secretary and say, why has this man not been paid? Because a funds has been disbursed for this payment. But not for his approval for payments. That is not part of his duties.
Okay, Prof. Let's talk about projects in Nigeria, because we've seen some cases where people, some maybe House of Rep member, maybe senators and some persons just go do a very small covert, and you see social media everywhere agog, display of some projects that are not even worth it at all. What do you, because you said something just now that the minister, people said ministers, they don't send ministers to court or prison as the case may be. Now, looking at...
that is, I said so because of their duties.
Okay, because they are not the one directly in charge of the finance.
Yes, because, okay, if you called me today and said, I've taken away 10 million naira, how? How did it go about? Because I'm not the chief accountant, the administrator or manager of the ministry. So how can you hold me responsible? So in the presence of the law and investigation and the mechanism of security, you cannot hold such person responsible because he's not in charge of the finances. Unless somebody is coming to allege that we gave him so amount as kickback or bribe, which is very rare in the Nigerian case, even when it happens. So we purposefully arrogate power to them, and they use it willfully. Then coming to the case of a House of Rep or Senate member, that is, build a covert and people celebrate. A lot of us in Nigeria live in ignorance. So any small thing or whatever thing you have done within some community have been taken more serious than expected. So we over-glorify it.
But then a lot of Nigerians don't even know how to go about these things. The reason why I talked about the issue of project execution generally in Nigeria, there is this belief that majority of the projects are audio projects. They are not really carried out. All right. How did we get there, and what do you think should be done? Because it's part of the step the president is taking now. Maybe he's starting from the ministers. He may still extend it down to the senators and House of Representative members. But then, what do you think about project execution generally in Nigeria?
We are not even in problem yet. We are not facing difficulties yet. I can see the way people are celebrating AI in Nigeria today. When we expand to AI generation, that is where we will have problem. Where we will start advertising what is not in existence at all. We look at things we are not supposed to go into, Those are the things we want to. For now, we are not ready, set for some. That is where those are the things we want to implement. They forget that when we leave the AI generation, artificial intelligence, entirely, we are going to nanotechnology, and nanotechnology will even give us the worst.
After AI, we'll go into nanotechnologies.
Yes. I have a master's in nanotechnology since about when people they have not started talking about nanotechnology so many years ago. So when you go to nanotechnology, you will know that AI is playing. And that is, any politician in Nigeria that has any idea on AI and nanotechnology would know that will do anything to convince anybody.
But the people at the constituency will cry out to say, well, these things were seen, they are not real.
You can only cry out when you have the power to cry. How many people in the constituencies has a close tie with the media?
Unlike before, I think now they do.
No,
because of the advent
they don't.
Of,
they no
social media
longer
and all
believe
that.
in the people. Don't believe in the media. The media has to top up their game for people to believe in them.
Why do you say so?
Okay. If you see AI itself, the way we are sounding AI in Nigeria without no policy framework will make the media goes down. The confident people impose on the media will go down. Unless the media itself up their game. Because if you go to some community, I will just tell you for free, when they see something on set, I beg, they pay them to say it. It's only people who have some pedigree. When they speak, they will say, no, we can listen to this one. But the other ones, they will say, no, he has already been paid. Don't you know him? He was former this, he was former chairman, he was former this. He just came, get paid to speak.
All right.
And if you look at it very well, you see a lot of challenges. I will talk of somebody who has served as a minister and a deputy governor. There's something he said in the media, and people said, please. It was even in the village, one of the villages, when I went to visit somebody, and it was online. And the person just said, he was a minister, he couldn't do anything. He was a deputy governor, he couldn't do anything. He should just tell us he's looking for a position, a new position. Finish. So you don't look at the man in the village these days to strongly believe in everything that the press gives.
All right. Let's look at alternatives now, because you seem to be faulting the channel. All right, that's the Bureau for Public Procurement, which is meant to scrutinize the projects of these ministers. Now, this is what it is. What do you think, apart from, if not Bureau of Procurement, what else do you think can be done to checkmate the activities of ministers as it has to do with project and other of the assignments that they are supposed to carry out? Because now, as it is, to whom much is given, much is expected.
I don't think there's any much to be expected from me, from the Bureau for Public Procurement. No.
Even the ministers
if
now,
they have to extend it to establishing a body.
An independent body.
Yes, calling it Project Implementation Task Force or Project Monitoring or Presidential Monitoring Committee or something like that. Something that will not live forever or exist forever, because most of these bodies, we establish them, they are not supposed to live forever. So you make them bodies that become very permanent. And when you make them permanent, they become bodies that become powerless. From permanent to powerless.
Double P.
Yes. So that is what happens to all the agencies, parastatals and the rest. If you look at most of them, as you call them, I will tell you where their lapses are.
All right.
They could be very active. They are very active from the beginning, running the activities the way it's supposed to go. But the moment they find out that they have become a permanent structure, they are more corrupt than expected.
All right. They are more corrupt than expected. Well, I think from what you've said so far, it means another external body should just be set up to carry out this assignment, because like you said, you gave an example of a refrigerator, meaning you spoke out of experience at some point. Well, I wish time could actually permit us to talk more, but this is how much time will actually allow us to go ahead with this conversation. So we'll put a stop to it right here, but then we'll keep our fingers crossed to see how it will go with the ministers. So between the ministers and the Bureau for Public Procurement. Thank you very much, Prof, for joining us on this Global Morning conversation.
Thank you, and thank you, viewers.